Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Nate, and welcome back to another weather forecast discussion, this time for April 7th, 2022. Well, as one wave of severe weather goes, another one comes right back in to replace it. And as a matter of fact, we already know when and where the severe weather could potentially exist. And as a matter of fact, the Storm Prediction Center has already issued 15% severe weather outlooks for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We'll get to that all in a second, but before we get started, I just want to thank you guys so much for tuning into the channel. All right, we've live streamed for 3 days straight from Monday, Tuesday, all the way through into Wednesday earlier on this week, covering multiple days of enhanced severe weather with few significant tornadoes, quite a few of them actually. I hope that everyone was all right through that event, and let's hope that that type of stuff doesn't really happen for these people out in front expected for the beginning of next week. So once again, really do appreciate you guys coming out to the stream. We grew our channel exponentially, basically meaning that we have more people to help us share information with as many people as possible. So you guys know the drill. Please be sure to leave a like on this video down below by just taking 1 second to leaving a like and maybe even subscribing. You actually help me get this out to more and more people on YouTube, essentially helping me spread information. Also, please be sure to copy the link to this video and put it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as share this with friends and family and on social media. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in here with the simulated radar from the North American model. Of course, the timing is above me in Eastern Daylight Time, so consider that if you will. We do have our low pressure system that created all of our severe weather over here in the portions of the Great Lakes. On the back side of this, and as well as the northern side of this, there's going to be a lot of cold air that's going to be coming on through, and we're going to get a lot of that warm precipitation, that rain, that's going to start to turn into snow here as we move off towards the general vicinity of Friday morning in towards the Friday afternoon hours. You can see there's a lot of snow over here towards portions of Montreal and even some ice across Quebec City. So if you're over there in portions of Quebec, you need to watch out for that, as well as portions of Ontario and the Great Lakes. Potentially some snow is possible across some of your areas, so I would monitor that as that continues to move on through. At the same time that this is all happening, we also get a band of precipitation that moves off through the Pacific Northwest here in the early morning hours of Friday, so watch out for that. Potentially some strong damaging winds possible, maybe some decent wind gusts accompanied with some of that rain is possible. And then after that, well, nothing really happens. All right, we go from here all the way into Saturday, and it's just the same old for the most part. We still get a lot of wintry precipitation, maybe some snow squalls that move on through into portions of the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, as well as the Great Lakes. We also get some snow squalls that move on through into portions of the Pacific Northwest. There's the same recipe here that we saw just a day ago, and so it's just going to continue to keep going and going and going, and all the way through until we get to Sunday. Now, this is when things get really interesting. I know there isn't an outlook here for Sunday, but I want you guys to watch out for this a little bit, all right? I know there isn't a whole lot of severe weather here on Sunday, but watch out for potential little severe weather risk that could occur in the Central Plains. Maybe something that moves on through. You see there's a low pressure system that develops over here near the areas of western Oklahoma, southeastern Colorado, that general vicinity. And that low pressure system could potentially create some severe weather over into portions of Oklahoma and Texas. The only thing about that, though, is that there is a lot of limiting factors in that event. And so we could have thunderstorms that develop. We could not. It just really depends upon what happens with that. But then, here we go. Let's go into Monday, our first day of severe weather. And we do have a 15% chance for severe weather for this day. So let's see how this goes. Well, you can see here we get to about 7, 8 o'clock, and we get some of that showers and thunderstorms that form over here across portions of central Oklahoma and central Texas. That'll continue to move on through and be practically sporadic here at this time. The only issue here with looking at the simulated radar from the Euro model is that it's not exactly the best high resolution model to use. And that's because we are really far out from this event. So things can eventually change. Of course, storms can move in different directions and stuff like that. And the placement of this event could, of course, also change. But the main thing here to take away from all of this is that there's a low pressure system that's developing here. It's sitting over this area, and this is going to be a catalyst for some more severe weather. So here's Tuesday. You can see our low pressure moves off towards portions of Illinois, and we have another one that develops back over here. Look at this, a new one, and then more severe weather that develops across portions of Oklahoma, Texas, even into Arkansas, Missouri, Louisiana, portions of Kansas. And then this will continue to push on through. You see our low pressure system then starts to get a lot more significant here. It starts to deepen and intensify as it moves off towards the north and east. And then here on Wednesday, we do have a severe weather risk for portions of the Ozarks as well. So definitely something to monitor with that. We also have some snow on the backside coming in behind this. So that is also something to monitor here with the potential of some winter weather activity as well. So what makes this event tick? Well, we're going to try and take a look at all the different environmental factors that kind of tell us as to what makes this event what it is, as well as how significant it could be, and even what are some of the parameters. And so to do that, we're going to take a look at a couple of things. First off, we're taking a look at the 500 millibar wind shear, which is our upper level wind shear, or our wind shear about 6 kilometers above ground level. This is where we can find our jet stream, more or less. And we can kind of see, this is where our jet stream is at right here. You can see how consolidated it is. Big dip in the jet stream over here across portions of the central and eastern United States with a low pressure system over here. This is what we like to call a trough. So we have our trough that's dipping on through, and then towards the west of it, when the kind of jet stream loops up, it starts to go northward. That's when we like to call a ridge that starts to set in. And that develops kind of this clockwise flow, more or less, to where we have a lot of warm air that starts to reside in the area. So low pressures create counterclockwise flow, high pressures create clockwise flow. Now with that being said, let's play this on through. You can see our low pressure system finally start to move off, and now we have a new bit of jet stream that's starting to come in through here. We don't have a really big trough that dips on through until right about now. Look at this. This starts to develop here sometime around late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. All right, notice how I said late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Well, isn't the severe weather supposed to occur from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? Maybe even Sunday as well? And yes, there is supposed to be severe weather. So let's just backtrack here for a second. See what's happening here on Tuesday night. Well, we do have some wind shear here. We have a little bit of a dip in the jet stream down here, a relatively weak one. But we do have some wind shear here within this area on Monday night. So there could potentially be some severe weather within this area. But the wind shear is modest, all right? Very modest. About 35 to 45 knots of wind shear in total. And so that is something to watch out for. Not expected a whole lot of stuff from our jet stream, but we do have our subtropical jet in place, which is relatively interesting to note of. But notice here, guys, as we continue from Monday into Tuesday, and then eventually from Tuesday into Wednesday, you notice how our wind shear starts to get a lot more significant. You notice Tuesday, we have our low pressure system that really starts to dig on through. And then on Wednesday, of course, well, you can see how significant the wind shear is and how compact this is here across portions of the central United States into the Ozarks. So this is something to watch out for as this continues to progress. That's the reason why the Storm Prediction Center has issued outlooks for these areas. And we're just going to have to continue to monitor as to where specifically this low pressure system ends up as we get closer and closer. Because believe it or not, this is not set in stone, all right? This low pressure system could go a little bit further north. This can go a little bit further west, east, south. You know, you get the point here for the most part. But the general consensus right now is that we are expecting a low pressure system to begin with to be somewhere in the central portions of the United States, and that's the reason why the Storm Prediction Center has issued their outlooks ahead of time. So what about the general flow of the lower levels of the atmosphere? What about the 850 millibar wind shear, which is about 1 kilometer above ground level? This is our low-level jet. What about the low-level jet? Well, you can see we have a very strong low-level jet over here in the portions of the Great Lakes. Our low-pressure system is still alive over there as of this moment. But then as this continues to move on through, well, you notice that we have a high-pressure system that develops over here in the Gulf of Mexico. Very similar to what we've seen over the past two events, over the past month, more or less. And it's creating a lot of flow to where you have a lot of wind shear coming from the south and heading to the north. This clockwise flow is bringing a lot of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico into portions of the central United States. And you see how our low-level jet actually intensifies over that area, gets quite a lot of wind shear within this general vicinity, and continues to stay over this area from Sunday into Monday, further on into Tuesday, to where you can even see this become a lot more enhanced as we go from Tuesday morning into Tuesday afternoon, drops into the late afternoon hours, and then starts to amplify in the evening and overnight hours. And then you can see how our low-level jet becomes rather significant as we move from Wednesday morning into Wednesday evening. Look at how well defined this low pressure system is here, guys. All right, this is definitely something to watch out for. that we might see an increase in activity of severity, I should say, from Sunday into Monday and then into Tuesday and then into Wednesday. It'll probably take step by step by step by step as it goes up along the line in regards to severity. So that's something to watch out for, and how this could be in increments of severe weather for the central portions of the United States, and just be relentless for the most part. All right, some of these areas saw severe weather the previous day, and they're just getting more and more of that activity. So we got to watch out for that. The wind shear is favorable for something tornadic. So what about the energy levels of the atmosphere? What about the convective available potential energy? Well, we do have that here, all right? For people who don't know, convective available potential energy is basically the displacement between the warm air rising and the cold air sinking in the atmosphere. So the higher and higher you go in the sky, I'm sure you guys have noticed this whenever you traveled up mountains, and if you haven't, you'd be able to just take a look at it from the weather stations, and you'll see that once you go higher in elevation, it starts to get cooler and cooler in the atmosphere. So if it's a lot colder up in the atmosphere than it is on the ground, it's really hot towards the ground, really cool in the atmosphere, the warm air is going to want to rise a lot quicker than an atmosphere to where the temperature is practically the same above and on the ground. So that is something to note there with that as well. And that can be measured here on the convective available potential energy number. So the higher the CAPE, the higher the energy, the more likely showers and thunderstorms are going to be able to form or sustain. So let's look at Sunday first, and you see we do have some convective available potential energy across portions of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas here. It's just whether or not we can actually get those showers and thunderstorms, because there are some external limiting factors that we will more than likely talk about when we get closer and closer to the actual event here, because that'll actually, when we get to the more high resolution models, we'll be able to kind of see with a lot more detail as to what specific areas could get severe weather and areas that can't get severe weather. But there is energy here for Sunday, so severe weather is possible. Now, as we move off over here to Monday, you can see we do have quite a bit of CAPE that start to show up here across portions of the central United States. We actually have above 2,000 or almost 3,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE over into portions of Oklahoma and Kansas. So that checks out. There is quite a substantial amount of CAPE over there. We want above, I'd say, 1,500 to 1,800 joules per kilogram of CAPE in order for you guys to get showers and thunderstorms that could be severe. And let's move on through over here in towards Tuesday. Well, look at this. Widespread amounts of CAPE over here on Tuesday as well. It's a lot more vast here on this day than it was on Monday. So expect a more widespread severe weather event here for Tuesday. And then we move off over here to Wednesday. And well, I mean, you can kind of already see we have higher amounts of CAPE and we have more widespread amounts of CAPE. And then, of course, this CAPE actually starts to diminish because thunderstorms actually form before that. And so this is a good idea as to how much CAPE we could potentially see for this environment. And there's quite a lot of it here. So there's a substantial amount of energy that is possible that is here within this environment. So we're just going to have to see as to whether or not these storms actually tap into this energy and, of course, form or sustain. So let's see where the showers and thunderstorms could potentially be. And to do so, we're going to take a look at the instantaneous flash rate, which is basically where thunderstorms could potentially be, where we can see our lightning from these showers and thunderstorms. And that is represented here on this graphic. So let's take a look here on Sunday. Well, we do have some severe weather that is possible across portions of Oklahoma and Texas, so that is not really too surprising there as that continues to move on through. What about Monday? Well, let's see. Ooh, we do have some lightning over here across much of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, so that is something to note there. Also have some other areas that get some severe weather as well, possible across portions of the Great Lakes, but that'll be more of a warm frontal activity. So I don't really expect too much from that, but still something to watch. I'll pay attention to that pretty closely. Here we go on Tuesday, and we see, oh, wow, very widespread here with our lightning density across the board. A lot of lightning here, extending from Iowa all the way down towards Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. Even some other activity out in front of this in Arkansas, Louisiana, as well as into portions of the Deep South. That continues all the way through. You can see there's a lot of lightning in the Deep South over there. And let's go over to Wednesday. Ooh, there's already some showers and thunderstorms that form across this entire boundary over almost the same exact area that got severe weather. And you can see how more widespread this actually is over here on Wednesday as well. So that is definitely something to note as that continues to progress. What about Thursday? And not as bad. We do see some general showers and thunderstorms, maybe some severe weather that could be possible across portions of the Ohio River Valley down in towards the southeast and maybe even the mid-Atlantic. So that'll be something to watch out for as well. So guys, I hope you did enjoy this video here. This is just a little bit of an idea as to what goes into what's going to go on next week. Of course, if there is some tornadic potential with these events next week, I will be live streaming as I have been with most severe weather events this severe season. So if you want to continue to stay and look at these forecast videos as well as short videos in the morning that give you just a general idea as to what the weather could potentially be like, as well as, of course, the live streams, the radar analysis, and maybe even some chasers that join so that we can continue to try and spread information to as many people as possible, please be sure to stick with the channel, all right? Subscribe if you're new, turn on notifications, share this with friends and family and on social media, as well as hit that like button down below if you did enjoy today's video, and or if you want to help me share this with more and more people on YouTube. Also follow me on social media, link will be in the description down below, as well as if you want to become a member, please be sure to click that link down below. It's only $5 a month, but you get special perks and stuff like that, and they're pretty exclusive to members over there on the channel. I really do appreciate all you guys' support, and thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Nate. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.